Today's guest on the Roost is originally from Alabama. He's been living in Nashville for the past couple years as a hired gun drummer, playing downtown and for various artists. He's a pretty busy man, so it was greatly appreciated to get to sit down and talk with him in the studio. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Bowen Robertson. All good, man. I appreciate you coming out here today. I know you got a busy schedule, man. So how long have you really been out here in Nashville?
I moved in November of 2016. So basically 2017. Moved up here after a weekend with like 3 wedding gigs and saved up enough money to like move because I had a friend in Antioch that had a basement. It's kind of like my room was kind of like this big and they just weren't using it. So they were nice enough to charge me like $400 a month.
Oh, nice.
And they moved in like September and she was like, you know, do your thing. When you get the money, you have a place, which is kind of what I needed. Like I needed to like have a big target and just get my shit together. And then I did it. And I was playing with my old band at the time and we were playing a bunch of frat parties and weddings and stuff. We had just gotten signed to like Music Garden. And then we picked up, what was the other one? It's Music Garden. And there's another one I can't remember the name, but that when we got booked by them, didn't hear anything for like 6 months. That's kind of where it stretched out things. Like I thought I was going to make money, like, you know, and they started booking us frat parties and stuff and weddings, and then I drummed up enough money to move up here. And then when I got here, like with doing that band every weekend, I couldn't commit to anybody like being in their Broadway thing. So it was basically just like fills and stuff and sitting in whatever. Because that's what you got to do. That's what I tell everybody. You have to like be able to handle your beer. You know, be able to you go out, have 4 beers, not be crazy, and be able to play well and sit in. And then somebody's gonna get your number because it happened the first time I sat in. It was like, you know, bass player asked for the number, then you get a fill, then that band, and it kind of it splits off into a tree. Yeah. So
you mind pulling that mic a little closer?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm mumble.
All good.
Yeah, I'm from. I talk too fast and I mumble. That's like Northeast Alabama. So it's not like I'm friends with Johnny, and he took me to Lafayette. Yeah, his buddy that has like a full blown French accent. I forget his name. He'll talk about him immediately.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them.
Oh yeah, no,
got that thick accent.
We did Lundy Grouse.
Oh,
that was
nice.
right before COVID.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So he took me to. Are you from the same? You're from the same area. Yeah. What is the place that has the boudin with the cheese in it?
Ooh, I mean, they have Best Stop. They got.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I knew if you said it, I'd know it. Yeah, he changed my life with that stop for sure. Because I've had boudin. The only other good boudin I've had, I went to New Orleans and it was boudin with pepper jelly.
Oh, and they have Billy's boudin too. But anyway, yeah,
I mean, it's good everywhere.
That Cajun food, that Cajun food.
Popeyes, dude. Popeyes, it's a different level.
Oh yeah,
it's like. I know we have like Jack in the Box, but I feel like Jack in the Box on the West Coast is so much better than whatever they call it here. No.
Yeah,
it's trash.
Yeah, Jack in the Box in Louisiana. Oh my God,
is it bad?
It's bad, man.
It's bad here. I didn't see it till I moved here, and it was one of those like, oh my God, I've never had this. Yeah, and I ordered it one night, and I never did it again. It's like really bad. So I'm a fast food connoisseur. I don't eat. I save it for the road though, like either late night or road. I mean, you won't see me like eating Wendy's like every day, but I sure as hell like it. So.
You a Cane's guy? You've had some.
Oh yeah,
Cane's?
Johnny. Yeah,
Johnny's had you.
If you go on the road with Johnny, you're going to Cane's. You'll take there will be a detour.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we have. I told him Cane's is like Jack's, and I don't think. I didn't know that Jack's didn't exist till I moved to Nashville. I didn't know it was just an Alabama thing, and it's kind of like that with like breakfast and like or Guthrie's. Have you heard of Guthrie's? Okay, so I don't get out much, or I don't realize that Alabama has things, and that's it.
Oh yeah,
but Guthrie's is more like Cane's is definitely like a little Cajun, like it's like palatable Cajun.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom would like it.
Yeah.
She thinks mild is spicy.
Yeah. What was Alabama like where you're from? I mean, especially like the music scene and the
Music.
culture.
So I started playing drums at 10. So I mean, I wanted to play in jazz band. They put me in band. Like I don't know. Apparently, growing up, I like going to church. There was like toys in the Sunday school at the room that were like, I don't know. They were like made to like make you like if you were musical,
Oh, yeah.
you'd know how to use them.
Yeah.
I just thought they were like sensory things. It was like a shaky, like a you rub them together. It was like a shaker and a clap stick and stuff like that you use in concert band. I didn't know what I was doing, but the choir director saw me playing with it. Was like, you told my mom like your son's a drummer. My dad was a drummer. And my mom was like, oh God. So they put me in strings in 5th grade. I did that through middle school too. Got the band in 6th grade. Didn't really pay attention to the drum set until I saw somebody like I saw like an 8th grader. I forgot his name. Sean Carroll. That's his name. He was playing drums, and I'm like, that's cool. I don't know if I can do it. But then so there's another drummer on the street on Broadway who actually taught me my first beats. Like taught me what I needed to know to get in jazz band.
Oh wow.
His name is Jeremy Garner. He's actually he works just like me on Broadway.
Nice.
So he actually filled in for me on Saturday. So every time they book him, I'm like, you're booking the guy that taught me.
Yeah.
Like my initial crap.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did jazz band, and then got to high school, did marching band. They started me in marching band in 8th grade because we didn't have a lot of people.
Yeah.
We were kind of having a lot of turnover and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they moved me up to drum line. I literally had like 3 snares, 2 basses. So we needed to move like the good younger kids up. Like it was me and like 5 other folks from middle school playing in the high school band. So did that, and then I met my buddy Patrick in high school, who I don't know where he's gone off to, but we started playing like he had a whole like band set up at his house. So we put a band together, started playing like Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
And then it turned into like Under Oath, which is a really hard right turn. But we were just kind of playing the crap that like they knew, and it kind of opened my eyes to like punk and stuff. And then we were growing a scene in Gadsden. It was like Under Oath played with when they got Spencer, the singer that's with them now.
Oh, okay.
Because they used to have Dallas, and he went to the Chariot. And so when that happened, I think they were like testing him out. They built. I mean, the building's still there. It's a cool ass venue. It used to be called the Core. But I just happened to join the scene right when it was like, it wasn't like huge, but it had a lot of like momentum. And so we started playing shows like, I guess I was like 16, 17. Did that, and then graduated high school, still played in that band, went to community college on a full ride, like drum set.
Oh, okay.
And did that, I just got my basics done and stuff. Like I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
But it was free.
Yeah.
So whatever. So did that. Then I applied to Alabama, did the marching band. Was gonna be like a music teacher. Because my mom wanted me to be one. Yeah. Like the whole time, like in middle school, I decided to move to Nashville. I'm like, that's probably where I'm gonna fit in. Yeah. Because it seems like you can make a living by just doing, live playing. Yeah. So got done with the community college, went and played marching band, got my ass kicked at the tryouts. Like didn't even have a clue. Like these like folks would be monsters and stuff from like really, really like huge like 6A high schools. And I came from like a 5A that really wasn't a 5A. And I developed rust with my technique and stuff. So I played cymbals my first year at Bama, and I lost 100 pounds because we play them like we had the guy from the tech from our tech was from the Boston Crusaders. Okay, from a DCI. So he made us do like drum corps, like all the flat, like not like HBCU, like where they, they flipping the cymbals all the time. Yeah. But like we had full on technique where it looked robotic. Yeah. And you have to hold them out in front. So like,
oh yeah, he was working y'all.
I used to have calluses. You used to pinch this right here, and it would hold. So now it's just that like,
Yeah.
This is the Broadway
Oh yeah.
calluses.
Dang.
But yeah, so I did that for a year, and then I switched to bass.
Hmm.
I kind of I started liking bass drum, but I wanted to be on snare.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realized like my my drum instructor was like a snare player, and he focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna play the instrument he didn't play.
Yeah.
And it was like it's kind of like drum set, marching bass.
Mm.
Like it's just like you're playing the floor tom,
Mm.
and somebody else is playing something else. It's kind of cool. And you know, it was tight, and I did that for 2 years. Did the national championship against Texas in '09, and then I called it quits. I was like, I can't do school, and because I mean, when I was a music student, I was doing 18 hours plus percussion ensemble, plus the marching band.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, like if the whole goal is to graduate, I'm not going to graduate if I don't get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And so I got out, and I forgot who. I hadn't played like the bars, and so I got out of that and started doing my stuff, and kind of realized I wanted to play, just make money and play.
Yeah.
And so I actually got booked with, I think it was my roommate at the time. He had a gig with one of our long snappers that just played harmonica he had an in for us to get a gig.
Mm-hmm.
So he started doing that, and then I kind of met a bunch of other people. This is a whole like swath that I'm talking, but like it's how it happened. Like it kind of just meandered into like I mean turned into just playing like the bars every weekend.
Yeah.
Like I'd get and then you get the questions like, well, like how many gigs do you have? Like my mom be like, is this a real job? I'm like, I don't know yet. You know, like it's Wednesday. I'll get called on Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's how it became. Like it was like I knew I was gonna play. I knew I was gonna make rent and stuff. But like it got really monotonous and like you kind of felt like you hit the ceiling. Like and you're not gonna go anywhere playing the bar scene doing covers.
Right.
Like here's a different story.
Oh yeah.
So joined. Well, my buddy Michael Petito got me hooked up with. Goes by Lamont Landers, Jordan Landers. So he's blown up on TikTok.
Okay.
And I think he signed with whatever. They're doing a bunch of openers now with like St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Oh, okay, sweet.
But yeah, like dude blew up on TikTok. I mean this is well before. I'm messing my story up. But he hooked me up with him. We started playing. We would play every weekend because his voice is like he sounds like Al Green. He kind of sounds like it. You just got to hear it. It's hard to describe, but it befuddles me because his talking voice is like his singing voice. So when people freak out when he sings, I'm like, he was just talking, and it sounds the same. Like you can hear the potential before he sings.
Wow.
So we did that, and that was my gateway to coming up here.
Okay.
And then
he was living in Bama.
Oh, he still does.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I tried to get him to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna have to come up here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like I know, like he has a baby.
Yeah.
So he's got obligations, and I get it. It's a big. That's why I don't have kids. I want to play drums, bro.
Yeah.
Like I want to. Simple.
Yeah.
It sounds selfish, but
yeah,
it's what I want to do. So having a baby kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
kinks it up a little bit.
Definitely rechanges your, the structure of your life, your priorities, and your. You got more expenses, and it's like.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, he is doing great as a father.
That's awesome.
I remember when he told me, I was like, oh boy, like what?
Yeah.
How'd this happen? Because we were all like, that band, we were all like, we all would rather play and tour and stuff.
Yeah.
So, we did. He has a studio in Decatur. It's Jeremy Stevens. He hires me out sometimes that's like pretty much the only session work that I've done. I've done one session up here with a guy from the Delta Saints, and that was fun. It was at Sound Emporium, where they tracked Sound and Color.
Okay.
With the Shakes. So it was with a guy from the Delta Saints. So I've done one session there, but yeah, I mean, mostly I guess I've like geared myself to playing live. Yeah. Which is it's easy, but I definitely would like to do. It seems I was thinking about this on the way over, like where my head is, like with tracking, especially here. It seems like I need to do it. I need to have like my own ability rather than trust someone to call me to do a session. Because I mean, Johnny on his thing was talking about like he does his own drums,
You're right.
and they sound good. Like
Yeah.
the first time he played them for me, I was like, "Who tracked this?" And he's like, "Me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You play drums?" He's like, "No, it's on my computer."
Yeah.
And he's shown me like in Logic like how he does it,
Yeah.
and it is definitely like there's a equation that he has figured out,
Mm-hmm.
and it works for his music for sure. It's
Yeah.
very like punchy rock drums.
Oh yeah.
But I was just positive that it was somebody he got into a studio and tracked it. But no, I mean, he's a good drummer himself.
Yeah.
So I'm getting lost.
Well, yes. I mean, yeah. The program drums are getting good, so I mean, it's kind of changing the way that like drummers can expect work or not. Like,
well, I mean, it's
in that field.
I don't think that's what I say. If you like do you know of Aaron Sterling?
Mm-mm.
He tracks for like. I mean, he did Maren Morris. He did
Oh wow.
Lady A, I think. He did John Mayer's like sob rock album, and I think he was also on. I think he's been on the record since like. I'm trying to think when he started doing all of John stuff, but like you've probably heard his drumming and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Like I hear it after on new songs. I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But like he's very renowned in tracking and doing, unique noises and stuff, which I think is that is a big focal point. Hanging out with like tracking guys, like especially on drums, like you don't use like typical sounds. Like they try to find like rather a tambourine, use your keys and stuff, or like just think of something weird so it sounds unique, different, and separate of itself. But no, I think being up here and talking to a bunch of folks and like doing sessions where I go in and set my stuff up and they do stuff. I need to set up my own like recording or get savvy with that.
Yeah.
Which I know nothing. I mean, I kind of know. I can run my monitor mix.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I've gotten into the rabbit hole of recording myself, and it is a rabbit hole. But man, drums are an even bigger rabbit hole. So that is definitely a tall order, and it's like it's so daunting and like such a big mountain to climb to like really learn every little detail about it. And I've been recording myself for I don't know, maybe 4 years now, and drums I'm still just kind of faking it.
It feels like it, like a lot of folks go to I got a lot of friends go to Middle Tennessee State and do engineering, and I know one drummer that does lessons, and they seem to be very like engineering oriented. That was not at Alabama. It was way more like you had to be they were. It seemed like they were gearing you towards like symphonic stuff, which is fine. Like there's monster classical guitar players that are always practicing there. The organ's always being worked in the chamber, and like so like cool if that's your bag. Like really like I dig it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah,
I want to like that was the one thing I was on. It was Homecoming and Chuck Tilley. I don't want to like name drop him, but because he gave me the right answer. Yeah, like, I point blank asked him. I was at the end of my wits with my music education degree, like about to just move on to get some kind of degree so I could come up here.
Yeah.
Because that was the goal. And I was like, do I need to have a piece of paper that says I can do this? He's like, when I know I can already do it. And he basically didn't say yes and didn't say no. Because I think he wanted me to like value the education. I think it was the right answer. It's what I would tell someone. I'm like, you can do it, but the opportunities are probably going to take longer. Like unless you know someone. Yeah. So yeah. And with with miking and like from my experience, it seems like there's a blueprint, but there's also a crapshoot.
Right.
It's just it is what it is. Like you're not gonna. It's like doing anything. You're only gonna get good unless you do it. Yeah. Like I've tracked the crappiest sounding drums. Yeah. And I've tracked the best sounding drums. Yeah. And it's not much different than when you see the innards and stuff. It's just experience. Yeah. So. But I think my biggest problem is I'm probably just a little too antsy. Like sitting in a cave for me is not like playing live is more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, they both got their own little universes.
You definitely there is the studio guy and the live guy. Like and they are like like the bookworm and the party.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, and then like that sounds bad for like the live player, but it's like, you just enjoy like playing the. It's two separate art forms.
Oh yeah.
I do enjoy people like D'Angelo, his last record. Like I saw him live, like with the Black Messiah, and then actually like Martin Johnson from Boys Like Girls, his project Night Game, like in the studio, like the record, very very like compressed and like really like almost like MIDI sounding. And then you go to the live show and it's full on rock show. Like same with D'Angelo. Like the album is very like, it's very like tight and simple. Yeah. And then you go see a show live and it's like seeing James Brown and Prince.
Wow.
Oh, it's a good show.
Nice.
I don't know if he'll ever tour again. Yeah. But apparently when I saw him in 2015, that was the first time he toured since I was in high school. Because he had a spat he had addiction with cocaine. He had to hop that and do all that crap. And then he released the album. He's also just like he's kind of like the studio guy, it seems like. Like he stays indoors.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I know it's like probably like if you're doing one, you're kind of missing out on the other. And so you kind of have to maybe like prioritize which you're trying to be.
There is a click for sure, I think. Not like click like clicky.
Yeah.
Like not like a metronome.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's I think you have to commit.
Right.
And that's why I think I have to like have my own recording set up and I don't really, it's not like I want to like I could make more money playing live. I think if I got good at the tracking, I probably could make good money too. But I'm also way more deep into the live playing than I am like, you know, that's going to have to be a hobby until it's not.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd love to hear kind of more about like, you know, your routine for Broadway and how you kind of like juggle that. And
you know, it's where I'm at now was like I gotta play. How many gigs did I play this last weekend?
Well, and also I guess kind of like how you got to where you are now, because I'm sure like
I'm just like I said, like go down there and there's an open jam at Bourbon Street that I was thankfully somebody took me to as soon as I got into town, and I met kind of like my core friends that are still my friends now. And they were the first ones to give me opportunities. And it's a good place for you to go if you're new or you're like trying to get in, it's a good place to meet because there's Broadway cats there. There's like not Broadway. There's a whole different, there's touring people. Like there's people who do, you know, big gigs and stuff to come do that. So there's a lot of opportunity to go do like many different routes. And it's a good place to learn how to hang. Like, I mean, that's, you know, has anybody else said that? Like, it's a hang town.
Yeah.
Like I said, like if you can manage like to have some beers and be social, go sit in, you're probably going to do all right. So, just don't suck. I mean, people ask me if I practice on the gig, and it's like, I do practice things. I don't think I practice like glaring things, but I definitely like pay attention to what I'm doing. And yeah, I mean, you just got to like hang out and meet folks and be friendly. And I know sometimes that's hard for me because I don't like, I'd rather just sit in a corner and have a beer, but like you gotta get yourself out there. Yeah. You got to see yourself as a product, you know? And that was kind of, I think, hard for me because I had been in bands where it's like, I'm one of four, like I'm one of four pieces of this pie. Like this is our group. Yeah. Whether now it's like, I am my own like product being or whatever. So I have to see myself as like, I don't think like monetizing, but like you have to do like, I mean, like,
it's a really good point. You have to sell yourself.
Yeah. It's very much important. And the viewers like that, I think when you view yourself that way, then you kind of can get the gist of it. But yeah, I mean, if it just takes time. Like they call it a 7-year town. That's what I was told.
Yeah, maybe 10 years now.
There's a podcast called 10-Year Town.
Right,
it's like, I don't think. I mean, sure, maybe in 3 years I could probably be making more, but like, it probably took me. This is probably 3 or 4 years, but I had done it in two completely different scenes. So I mean, and that's just Southern culture, I think. Like you could put a street like Broadway in your hometown,
Yeah.
or down in Louisiana, and probably would be the same.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have like 18 bars with 3 stages on it. That's another thing. It's like the opportunity. Like you close your eyes and throw your best shot, you're probably going to end up on a stage. Just again, don't like try to. The hardest part of playing Broadway is encompassing like the 4 hours. Like I think that's my biggest, like when I'm walking to my gigs and I pass bands that are playing, like not to be critical, not to be like this is constructive criticism. It's just my opinion and whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think the hardest thing about playing that street is playing 4 hours and not getting, not losing your focus. You get bored and you start to like. I played the triple on Friday, and I like made a post on my Instagram. I was playing like way too much for my own good, like to my standard. Like, but that was another thing. We got on our break, and it was me and the bassist were smoking a cigarette, and he was like, I've played so much today, this hurt my feelings. It was like, I was like, I've played so much today, I'm starting to play stuff I played in high school.
Yeah.
Like just really distasteful licks. But sometimes you got to get it out of you. But yeah, playing 4 hours and trying to play the record or sound like the record or sound like that artist or whatever, that's really difficult. So, and so walking down the street, I hear people all the time, like trying stuff they probably shouldn't try.
Throwing stuff in.
Right. And thankfully I called myself out before I said what I said. Like because I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
But that is, and then do a double, play 8 hours.
I mean, some of that seems to be like good-hearted fun, but do you think that affects like the band leader more than the crowd, or like?
I think there is a part of the tourists that like want to see if you're a guitar player, they want to see it.
Oh yeah.
They want to see your whole bag. Like,
oh yeah.
And as a drummer, I'd rather see the guitar player do it than the drummer. I'm very picky on drum solos. I don't really like them.
Yeah.
And like, I'll tell you what, the song I do a drum solo most on Broadway is freaking Folsom Prison.
Oh wow.
And I cannot tell you how difficult that is to, because it's just 16 notes. I'm like, so do I just go full machine gun? Like, is that what I do? I don't know what to do. So like, and I don't do solos on jams. I've been up at that Bourbon Street gym and had somebody look at me and go like, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, first off, it's tonight. It's at
right.
It's at 8 to midnight. So actually, I've got a gig. I'm playing down on Broadway from 7 to 10, and then I'll probably end up there because again, I kind of feel like an obligation to go there.
Oh wow.
Because I mean, one of my friends runs it, Corey Merrick.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's also live right by the bar.
Oh really?
Yeah, I live in the Stallman, so it's like.
Oh wow.
That's kind of why I moved where I moved. It was a historic building, and I'm like, oh, I'm right by my favorite
nice
bar venue.
That's really cool.
Shoot, you know what? I'm really glad that you can hold the subject matter, because like my brain starts rolling, and I've had a long weekend, so like,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool jam, man. I'm probably going tonight too, and
I'll be up there. We'll see how long. I mean, I just can get my stuff in the basement where thankfully I have a spot I can put my gear.
Yeah.
Because I'm down there Wednesday, usually Wednesday through Sunday. And I'm usually off on Monday and Tuesday, but we're moving. So I'm trying to save up some money. So I'm like,
you lived a couple of places in town, I'm sure. What's kind of been like your take on places to live?
What like in what sense?
Like I guess like were there some reasons why you kind of are moving?
I moved downtown before I was like that situation. Two of my roommates got engaged. They wanted to live on their own.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, screw it. I didn't know how much it cost to live down here, and I found the Stallman, and then it was like, my apartment was as big as this room. It was a 400 square foot like box.
Yeah.
Like one of my walls is my kitchen.
Wow.
So I kind of bit the bullet and like moved down like to have an advantage, because it's like, well, but somebody needs to fill, I'll be 5 minutes away, less than 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
and it worked. It took a second, but it worked. And like, yeah. So I think if you're playing Broadway, as much as I am stuck doing, I don't say stuck. Like the joke is you're stuck down there.
Yeah, right.
Everybody that doesn't play Broadway, they're like, it's a black hole.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get out of it. I'm like, you can always quit.
Yeah. Right.
There's somebody wanting a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved down there without really. Well, I thought I was too broke. And what I didn't realize is I didn't want to do my finances and find out how much money I was just,
Oh yeah.
like food and beer and not like you got a problem. You just don't want to know how much you're spending.
Right.
Because I mean, it's $9 a beer down there.
Right.
Shit adds up quick. So that's another reason to keep you from getting drunk. It takes $70 to get drunk down there. And that's just a few beers.
Yeah.
So what the hell?
Yeah.
But I get it. I moved from a place with state taxes. There's no state tax here. So you kind of got to pay it up front. Ever thought about it that way?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pay much in state taxes in Alabama, but like it definitely, it makes me less gripey about the price of things.
Sure.
When you see the breakdown of taxes. Yeah. There is a lot, like when you look at your tab next time, there's like a downtown tax, a liquor tax, and like, I think they're just making taxes up now, So, there is that, like, but no, I mean, downtown's fine. I got told by a buddy of mine in Memphis and been down here. He was like, I don't know how you like walk up the street so chill or just, and not like have some kind of form of defense. Like,
yeah.
And like, dude, I've never been like, there was a tense moment right after COVID where, during when they opened the bars back up and there would people were getting like, they'd pull up and mug people.
Oh, wow.
Like after they'd see their gear in their hand, they know they're leaving the street.
Yeah.
So they know they got money.
Yeah.
So they'd take their gear and they'd take their money and dip off. So that was kind of when I started putting my gear in the, where I put it on the street.
Oh, wow.
And so I would look normal. So fair enough. Like the image of it, I look benign. I look like a tourist, where I look like somebody's just walking home.
Yeah.
Like, so I started doing that. But I mean, outside of that, it hasn't been. I don't think it's sketchy. There is you can go down. You can get in some bad spots, like, but it's just like New Orleans. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go if you stay like, like there's like from Canal to Bourbon Street. You stay on the right path, like the well-lit path. Do not go on the side streets.
Yeah.
Because that will change so quickly. Yeah. It's kind of like that in Nashville. Like, I wouldn't go dawdling up to Germantown on my feet. I'll walk to Brooklyn Bowl. Like, it's like a 10-minute walk. But also the shows are done by like, you're not walking back at like witching hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
only had one. I've never like been threatened by like getting mugged.
Wow.
But I've had one experience with my girlfriend. We were in New Orleans, and she's from Jersey, so she's got we both can smell the BS coming before you see it. And so, like, we were walking back to this hotel we were at, and it was like just a smidge off the path.
Yeah.
And dude rolled out on a bike.
Yeah.
And then a dude with a big hoodie, like bigger than mine, rolled out with his hands in his pockets. And we were both looking at our phone. But like, if I'm looking at my phone, I still got my peripherals.
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I just went, And we both did a U-turn back because we just passed a cop car. Yeah. And so that happened. And then I was walking down 4th Avenue one time at like probably midnight trying to find some food. Because this is before COVID. Like, there was still a bunch of like late night spots you could get food at, and things were 24/7, which hasn't come back yet. Yeah. And I walked by like up on like 5th and 4th Avenue, those old school shops with the glass windows, and it dips in. Yeah. And it was me and my ex at the time. We walked by, and it's two tall looking dudes, like just looking like they were waiting on something. Yeah. And then we walked by that, and I was like, "Was that?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah." That was almost. I'm like, "Yeah, that felt like it was about to be."
Yeah, New Orleans is. Man, I almost moved to New Orleans, and it's just, I couldn't justify it. It's just, it's getting scary down there. But let me ask this: so, what's kind of prompting your move now?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you said you're moving out of.
Better I don't really want to talk
Oh,
crap. I mean, with crap, it's not really crap talk. It's just better amenities. Like the building I live in, like believe me, like I've been there since 20. I think I stayed in Antioch until I moved in September of 2018, 2019. Because my band at the time, the reason I do that math is we did the reboot of Showtime at the Apollo, and so I was up there for filming, and it was like a year after that. So I did that in May of 2017. So it was September of 2018. I moved downtown. My rent at the time was like, I think it was 1,100. So I mean, all my friends were like, "You can get evicted." I'm like, "I'm not." We was doing Uber too. So it got to the point, like living downtown is one thing I realized that once you live downtown and you play downtown, you don't use your car unless you're making money with it.
Yeah.
So the gas, I don't use any gas. I rarely drive. Like I can walk everywhere. So it was great. It was cheap. The price has gone up. Me and my girl now split it's a 1-bedroom, but it's kind of like a studio. There's no doors. There's just a door to the bathroom. It's great. We're looking at the courthouse. Yeah. Like it's on the 4th floor. They just started building these apartments, like these. I mean, look at downtown. Like it's blown up since I've moved downtown. Yeah. Like, and so she moved and was like, it's an old building. It's dusty real quick, and she does not like. She likes for that stuff to be in order and clean. Yeah. And so she would clean, and she's like, I swear to God, I clean, and 20 minutes later, the place is dusty because it's so old. Yeah. And so we just kind of on a whim went over to Alcove. So it's on when you're coming around James Robertson, the bend, like the back of the Capitol. Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. Right, bends around, and then you can get to Church Street where it does that weird split where you can go right. Sure. You can go up there, and you actually can still take a right and go the same way. It's just a spaghetti mess of roads. Yeah. That building that looks like an adolescent made it on Minecraft. Yeah. Like it's like stacked like this. Okay. We went and checked it out. It's the same price we're paying right now. And there's like everything's modern. Nice. There's a concierge 24/7. Nice. Parking's on site. So I mean, a lot of things that are out of like my building's control. Like they outsource their parking to the city garage. Yeah, just upgrading a little bit. Well, I mean, and I got my car broken into in that garage. I kind of baited it. I was so over from working, and I was heading out of town, and I came back, my windows gone, but I got all my stuff back. Wow. And they called on me. Like the cameras in that garage look like they're from like the 80s. So I guess he thought they weren't on. And then I had made a rapport with the security guard, and he came up to me. He's like, already got footage of the guy. So I mean, if you ever get your car broken into, put the police report in as quick as possible, because they're gonna sit on your gear for like, I think he sat on it for 2 weeks. Yeah. Either way, all that said, that the parking is on site. There's valet parking at this place. Yeah. There's a concierge. There's like, not only did you have a kitchen, there's like, they load these places up, and it's the same price as my place right now. Wow. The rooftop pool. Yeah. There's a glass bottom pool if you like that kind of bougie stuff, whatever. But I mean, like, I've been down here and like we pay over $2,000. It's like, I'd like to feel like I'm getting what $2,000 would pay for, what it would get me. Yeah. I'm still close to Broadway. I can still walk. Yeah. I might not walk at bar close up that direction, because it just gets a bit, it's all that construction for Nashville Yards. Yeah. And it just seems like probably not a good spot to walk back. So I'd probably scooter or Uber or whatever. Yeah, it's just a couple blocks extra than maybe. Yeah, I mean, sure, if I go up to if I walk up to Church, it's right on Church, so I can just go up from 3rd and take a left, and that's a pretty safe area. They have that little park area for the homeless folks that they like take care of and stuff, but most of the homeless folks are like, all they want is a cigarette. And then they've programmed themselves. Like I've been asked by the same guy in like 10 minutes. Yeah. You've lived downtown when you've told the homeless guy, bro, you asked me 10 minutes ago and I told you an answer. Or they get lip with you because you tell them no, and they're like, or I tell them that's my last one. Yeah, it's a bold-faced lie. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna give you my whole pack. No, hell no. These suckers ain't cheap. Dang. So.
So I'd love to hear more kind of about these regular gigs. So like
Hmm.
how many groups is that with, and kind of where are those at?
They're moving. They're kind of like jostling around some of the. I play mostly the Tootsie circuit.
Okay.
They're kind of they're trying some. They have a good agenda. They have a good. I believe what they're doing is good, and it's good to change things up sometimes. You know, like you have the same thing. It's just it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
gets
yeah.
monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of in. I'm in three kind of different bands right now,
Yeah.
and then you get called. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a very like a vague question. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
I could say three. I definitely play with two solid groups.
Mm-hmm.
The third band is like it's kind of turning into a trainer where they're putting us like so they'll take the acoustic guys that haven't played with bands or
Mm-hmm.
haven't played a lot with
Okay.
bands, and they'll put you on the acoustic stage,
Mm.
and you work your magic and you get your feet wet and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll put you with a band, and then we kind of like break you out of that show.
Mm-hmm.
So currently that band is doing that, and the guys, it's so funny. Like we've done it with two singers now, and one of them came from Ohio. His name's Davey McCandish. It sounds like just like the guy, like Steve Perry, or the Filipino guy that sings with Journey now.
Yeah.
Sounds
Wow.
just like him.
Wow.
It's crazy. So then we were doing the '80s thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then he moved back to Ohio, and we got this Billy Masters. He's singing with us. Tried to do the country thing. We were like, doing the country? What do we do? And we kind of had like a weird gig the first time, and then we were playing Rippies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about this last night after the gig. I was like, kind of pumping him up, telling him like, you know, dude, you're coming out of your show.
Mm-hmm.
But we played. This is gonna sound so funny. He was like, "Do you know Nickelback?" Like you're like, and then guitar player was like, "That's like what I listened to like when I started playing guitar."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, we found our bag." And sure enough, it's like all the new metal stuff, like the stuff I played like
Oh, yeah.
when I before I could grow facial hair.
Huh.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't listen to Nickelback on a daily basis. I promise you that, but I know it because
Yeah.
it's like that first record, man. The drums on that are smacking,
Yeah.
like really fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where Nickelback gets the like. I don't like Nickelback, and I make fun of them.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get their hate from.
Yeah.
Like, can you? And nobody can explain it.
Anybody who gets played too much, I guess, just like.
Did they get played too much? I don't.
Well, I just back in the day maybe, but even then, it's like I don't hate anybody really. I mean,
I feel like the new metal kind of like Stone Sour and stuff like that. The mall metal, as I call it,
okay.
like Slipknot, like there's like a cult following, and then there's people who like would be ashamed to find out that's like in their playlist.
Yeah.
It's always and Nickelback gets thrown into that.
Yeah.
Creed,
Yeah. Right.
like I think Creed's like, I mean Limp Bizkit, like
Yeah.
they've had a renaissance,
Mm-hmm.
and people used to be like, nah, man, I don't like them, like like they're saving face.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying. It's like it's like opening somebody's iPhone up and finding out they got Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still listen to it. Like that song he has with Kid Leroy,
Mm-hmm.
the Stay song. It's
Yeah.
a badass song.
Yeah. It's badass.
So I think the older I get, the more I don't give a crap about saying I like something that probably gets me like.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny though. People will get their britches in a bunch over like finding out that they listen to that stuff.
Yeah.
Like man, music's music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just had my first Broadway gig the other day.
oh really?
On Second Fiddle, yeah, my first one.
Oh, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, Second Fiddle rooftop. I
Who was
felt
it with?
very comfortable. Marcus, I forget his last name, but another guy from Louisiana. Been out here for like a year. I met him like the night before, and he hit me up for this gig, and it was a pretty good learning experience. And
That's how it goes. I mean, Second Fiddle has some. That corner of the street has some players. Like I know, like Jim Riley from Rascal Flatts or Gary LeBox. Him and his like it was like. It was him and I guess some of his old buddies because his story is cool. Like his story, he was playing with Marty Stewart and like went homeless.
Oh wow.
And then found he like sat in with, he booked a gig with Gary LeVox, was going to become Rascal Flatts, and just kept the gig. So like when people were like, how do you get the big gig? It's like, there's your story right there. Like it's kind of, you kind of just got to hang on tight, and something will happen. Like, but you know, giving up is not gonna.
Yeah,
it's easy to like feel that way.
Yeah,
and I totally get people when they get down, especially if slow season just got done.
Yeah, right.
It's tough. Like, I mean, we were talking. It's like, you know, you just gotta keep your head down sometimes and kind of be a little stubborn.
Yeah,
But it'll come around. I think this town definitely rewards people for being like, I think, persistent.
yeah,
No matter what you do, I think whether you're on Broadway, as long as you have a good head on your shoulders, and you stick to it, and you just keep on keeping on, something will pick you up.
mm-hmm.
I do think that. But also I understand, again, like, it can beat you down.
Yeah,
It can beat you, but I think that's what it's supposed to do.
yeah, right.
You know, like, you don't get better unless you like been in the pit. You know, and I've definitely been like, I've been in a few of them, but like, there's one thing it's taught me is like, do not stress about it.
Yeah,
I mean, the more you stress about it, it's going to cause more stress. You're probably going to want to quit, whatever. Just, you know, keep going to jams, keep making friends. You know, you will come on to something else, and it will. It was what is the line? My mom says it all the time. It's like when one door closes, like, dude. And I've had to learn that. And I still had to learn that. Like losing a gig I really like. And being like, damn, man, that sucks. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm playing with like a better situation.
Oh yeah.
That 2 weeks can feel like a year though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm definitely like a gun for sure now. Which but I'm proud of it. Like I'm thought of well, and I try to keep that going. But hopefully at some point, I mean, like when you, like I said, if you've been down here long enough, you've been at the bar and you've ran into people like Chris Young and like Randy Houser and stuff like, and like I've bummed a cigarette from Randy Houser because he smokes my cigarettes.
Wow.
That could have been an opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
And there's another thing, don't make it weird.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right, yeah.
I know, like, I think when I first moved down, I like probably like, well, the best thing I have for myself is like not being a full on country fan.
Yeah.
Like, so my blissful ignorance, like when I met Chris Young when I first came down here, and I was at Tenerife on Demonbreun.
Yeah.
I didn't know who the hell he was.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, you were just shooting the shit with Chris Young. And I'm like,
yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
And they, you know, filled me in, and I'm like, that's going to be my, that's my, I don't know, what am I trying to say? That's my, it works for me. Like blissful ignorance.
Right, yeah.
Also, like, once you play with a bunch of people, like, well, cool, you're on the road.
Yeah,
we all are.
That's your advantage, you know, because, like, you know, if you don't get that, like, feeling of needing to throw up when you're having a conversation, like, it's gonna be way cooler of a conversation to be, like, not fangirling.
I mean, I fangirl more over, like I'm like, if I was like I've never met Jim Riley. Like we're friends on Facebook, and I've asked him, like, I need somebody to teach me how to write charts.
Yeah, because
when that's another thing that probably it's a negative towards me in working in the studio. When I go in the studio, I get my whole thing now is if you give me a work tape 3 days before the session, I'm gonna know the song because I can just, you know, Broadway does that too. I have this like 30-second thing I can do with a song I haven't heard, and like just hear the parts. And as long as I know the artist, the feel, and whatever, I can probably get through it. But God, I'm freaking brain farting.
You still need to. You said you were working on charts with somebody.
Yeah. You know, Jim Riley. He's a big studio guy. Like he records a lot, and so like it would behoove me to like get help with that, and to learn to like, because it would also make my life easier. To know, like, I can look at something and not have to like cram like a work tape. It'd be cool to know how to write the charts while I know the work tape, and then I probably could cram the song down in like two takes.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm still like, that's kind of how Alabama does in there. Like every session I've done, like in Decatur and like up in that area, they'll write the charts as we're like rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
But like we'll stay there for like the whole day and go get lunch and just do 2 or 3 songs. But I think they like that's how they did it at Muscle Shoals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've played with some of those cats from the Swampers. Like I did a session with David Hood, which the producer didn't freaking tell me he was the bass player.
Yeah.
And he walked through the door and I was like, why wouldn't you tell me? And he's like, because you were freaked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah.
But I can't freak out.
Mm-mm.
So I'm freaking out while having to not freak out.
Yeah.
That's worse than freaking out. So I think my voice sounds like dog shit.
All good. Yeah, man.
My rambling, I have to be a fun conversation because I can unmedicated ADHD. It's just like I used to have to I used to get made fun of for like how did you get to that subject point in 20 seconds? And I'm like, and I used to get ashamed about it, but I'm like, I can explain like where my brain's going for sure. I've done one podcast before, and I think that's what the name of the podcast was. You know Kyle Thurkey?
Mm-mm.
He does a podcast called Nashville Nobodies.
Yeah.
I did that with him and Bobby, and like this is going a lot better. Like for I think the three of us were like we were all joking. I think we all collectively have like probably could be on some Adderall, but rather just write it with nothing, man.
Yeah,
like it's more fun.
Yeah.
I can totally explain where my brain's going for sure though. Like but I've kind of leaned in on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that, man. It's I think it's creative people too. They just have a different way of thinking and seeing things and organizing their brain.
I've got friends that do it worse than I do. So I mean, I guess like a lot of the you're right. It's like a lot of musicians are that kind of like we're just wired differently and hyped up and whatever.
Yeah.
This is. I'm on nothing but Gatorade and water right now.
Oh Lord. And also if you have to go anytime, let me know. I know you got
the gig's at 7. My gear's already down there. I just gotta dig it out the basement. I think they start at 7. I'm doing a fill in for one of my buddies.
Is there a time you need to get out? We can have John remind us or something if it gets close.
Probably probably the next 20-ish minutes.
Word.
Yeah, because I mean, I would have been here a lot quicker. Right? Traffic's gotten so bad.
Oh man,
I feel like I'm coming out of time travel, because I live downtown, so I don't see it.
Yeah.
And then I got on the road, and I was going down to Ellington, and I don't know what traffic jams on Ellington don't make sense.
Yeah,
because it's the bypass. Then I was coming out to your place, and it just slammed on the brakes. And I'm like, wonderful, great, cool.
Yeah.
I don't get. I'm immune to that.
Do you have any artist gigs right now? Or are you just kind of full time?
Oh yeah, broad? I just actually. So, if you haven't checked out Lamont, I mean, obviously check him out. It's a very unique voice. I played 8 years with him, but so I was doing the Broadway. I mean, so I played with Daisy Sellas, Sellas. My accent doesn't help me say that clearly at all.
Yeah.
She's writing with a bunch of she's writing with Don Goodman. Do you know who that is?
That sounds familiar, but no.
I said that right too. He wrote Old Red.
Okay.
Like Blake Shelton, Old Red.
Yeah, right.
You know that's a George Jones song.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
Also, Tennessee Whiskey is not.
It's not Stapleton.
No, it's George Jones.
Oh.
I forgot who wrote that. Dean Dillon. That's it. When you hang out with these writers, you start knowing all these names, and it's cool that the people that do it, because that's another thing about this town. It's there's people who just write songs and then give them to somebody, like a ghostwriter,
right,
and they are completely okay with it.
Yeah,
and it sounds like a good life.
Yeah,
but so playing with Daisy, we're actually doing bus call. I think.
Oh, nice.
When is that? Let me check. I got it in my calendar. It's if you've never been to bus call, that's.
I just played my first bus call.
All right.
In March, early March. Oh, it's still March right now.
The 10th, April 10th. I'm playing bus call, and she got to pick the whole lineup, all 5 artists.
Wow.
I'm like, this is gonna be the coolest bus call ever. I like it better than Whiskey Jam. Like I think
Yeah.
Whiskey Jam's great.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've played it I played it with Johnny.
Yeah.
When it was still at Winners. I
Oh,
think
wow.
it's better at Whiskey Row on the second floor.
Oh really?
Yeah, Johnny used to have a gig up there too, and that was a
Oh,
fun
sweet.
one. It sounds better, and,
Mhm.
and I think you can fit more people, and
Mm.
the content you can pull from that room, like like
Mhm.
photographs and stuff, you
Mhm.
can get a lot better out of it,
Mhm.
and it's on Broadway. I think
Yeah.
that makes more sense than Midtown.
Yeah.
Of course, Music Row's right there. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a goal or whatever,
Right.
but so I've just signed. So we did like a little contract, but
Mhm.
I'm her drummer for her stuff,
Oh wow.
and then Brittany Bishop, who actually used to play Broadway a lot.
Mm.
She's kind of catching some steam on Spotify. She just asked me to play with her like 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So I don't know what happened, but it opened up opportunity for me to play her music.
Mhm.
Both of their stuff is like I'm all about it. Like
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I think it'll be like I think they're like the up and comers and stuff.
Mhm.
'Cause I'm 36 and
And
Santa Claus.
that's road stuff.
It's in town.
Oh,
Like
it's in town.
Brittany's playing like the underdog a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
She's done it now like I think 3 times.
Oh wow.
And so now I'm jumping on that. We're doing I think my first gig with her is Mule Fest. Columbia. It's the biggest mule festival.
Okay.
I miss these gigs. I miss like I do miss these like random like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll pay you this and you come play like
Yeah.
this carnival.
Yeah.
It's funny. They usually have the best sound and best staging and best backline and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's in Columbia. I forget when that is. Is it May? I think it's May.
Mm.
She's doing. I'm doing the underdog. I think with it. Let me check.
Sweet.
Let me see. Oh, my buddy TJ's gonna be at the. You know TJ Armstrong?
Mm-mm.
He's supposed to lend me a bass
Oh, okay.
so I can learn bass. I need to learn an instrument. I've been a one trick pony in this town for too long.
Oh Lord.
That's another thing I was told when I moved here. They're like, learn something else, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's my arrogance or my confidence or what,
But I
or
kind
I'm
of
terrified.
know what you mean, because it seems like you kind of want to be a master of one thing and just put all of your energy into that instead of
But playing bass though, I
Yeah.
feel like it will definitely like it. There's no reason for me not to learn bass.
yeah.
Like it's only gonna help me play better as a drummer
Yeah.
because then I know like
Mhm.
what's up, like I can already do it kind of. I don't know like I know what the 4 sounds like. I know what the
Right.
1 is,
Oh yeah.
and I know what that entails.
Mhm.
Because I've had people ask me that. They're like, how do
Yeah.
you do this when you don't know the song? And I'm like,
Yeah.
like in a funk band that I played for 8 years, like the 4 is like the dirty time. You know, it's driving.
Yeah.
Then the country stuff has certain things that I can hear that
Mhm.
like. Also, country's like way more like. It's kind of like. It's not monotonous. It's not repetitive, but the music is not the forefront. The words are.
Mhm.
So the hard job is
Right.
the lyrics.
Right.
You know, and I think once I learned that, I think once other people learn that, you kind of like, you get it. You kind of relax.
Yeah.
You understand that. It's the same thing. They're like, how do you know all these Merle Haggard songs? Like, it's the
Yeah.
same thing, bro.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely it's definitely a good point. Just like to be more of a support role than especially like a funk band or something like that, and then to like, but yeah, I think you're right. Learning like another instrument like bass or like a noted instrument, something like that, would definitely help you like relate more to the band.
If I tried to learn I mean, I can play church chords on guitar,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
white church,
Mm-hmm.
like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
right.
like
Right.
you
Right.
two with reverb.
CCM,
church.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, CCM. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's like
not gospel.
that's gospel. Yeah, but I mean, right. My church I grew up, it is white.
Mhm.
It is organs and
Yeah.
organ piano and like,
Yeah.
is this what we're gonna do forever
Yeah.
after we die?
Yeah.
Is it just gonna be like Gregorian
yeah.
with organs? 'Cause I don't want to do it.
Pipes, not B3.
No, God, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, way cooler at B3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Crap. I hate when what the ball can for me the ball can keep rolling, and then when it stops, I go, wait, what was I talking about?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah.
that. I'm also like, again, I played, was it two? Played 2 on Wednesday night, 1 on Thursday, 3 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and 3 yesterday.
Yeah,
So if I'm a little bit like,
yeah.
if I'm hanging by a thread, it's because I'm hanging by a thread.
No doubt, no doubt. That is some serious work right there. So I guess before you go and just kind of wrap things up, like,
Yeah.
how do you, what do you do to take care of yourself to really keep this,
my God.
keep the longevity of playing this much?
Don't play like it's an hour and a half show. Like, don't
Right,
play
right.
like you're in save your juice for the start and save your juice for the end, because that's probably the 10 to 20 on both sides. It's probably going to matter the most, because you're going to get the show going and you're going to level out. Then you're going to crank it back up to be memorable, whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Give them a show. It's hard to do that for 4 hours. Good technique. As a drummer, like you probably can, for a guitarist, you can probably say some different things, but like I used to play drums to look cool when I was younger.
Right.
Like Travis Barker, I was like, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like I want to, and then like so if my physical ailments, like if we're talking about that,
Yeah.
I had a PT tell me, give me the free advice. I was explaining like, so it's doing it right now. My thumb will like,
It's locking up.
it'll try to lock up right there, and what it is my radial nerve. So, and the PT explained like it's this nerve that goes all the way up your bicep and your shoulder.
Yeah.
And she showed me like if you make the Italian hand,
Yeah.
and then you twist it back and point it towards the sky.
Ooh.
That's helped me. But like stretching the right way and as a drummer, using your wrist motion. Like everybody wants to play like this, but you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And yeah, if you variations of technique, like I pump gas, like Bradley probably does it too.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
think I've watched him yet. He's got he's got good hand technique.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with pumping gas. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't grip and stretch this nerve out, and I think that's what's hard. But the more I play on Broadway, the more I play these like I was up at 44 hours a week, like like Thursday through Sunday, 44 hours.
Whoa.
The more I do it, the more I use my bass drum technique from marching. Or like I'm still pumping gas, but I'm trying to make the motion of this, like the natural motion.
Yeah.
So like focusing on that, and then focusing on hydrating yourself. Like obviously have a good time, have a beer. If you or not or whatever.
Yeah.
But by God, drink some water.
Yeah.
Like I've started drinking the Johnny's a big the Gator Light.
Oh yeah.
You've heard him talk about it.
Oh okay.
He brings it on the road. He's brought it on the road like the past however many times I've been with him.
Pedialyte.
Yeah, but it's Gatorade.
Oh Gator. Yeah. Oh Gator.
It tastes better.
Oh, okay. Word.
But I started doing that before. I have a Wednesday. I usually do a 6 to 10, and then I do the back room at Tootsie's Close. So I don't get done till 2:15.
Yeah.
But I'm walking down. I will chug one of those, and it's just packed with like magnesium and potassium and all that stuff, just like anti-cramp stuff.
Oh wow.
Because I will cramp up the next day so bad.
Holy cow.
Especially on the first day of the week. After or like Wednesday night, it's funny. The second day, the Wednesday I will be fine. I will get through. My hands will be great. I go to my morning gig on Thursday, and things are like just tense up and stuff. And so like, the more I hydrate, the more I stretch, the more I focus on my body posture and stuff, the longer I can do this. Like, so it's just typical physical stuff. Like, shit you don't really think about. You don't think about the drums being that. I mean, yeah, they're physical.
Yeah.
But when you start doing hours like that, that's the main question I get. Like, how do you do that? And I'm like, but don't think about it and take care of yourself. Sleep. Like when I get done, I go straight home if I'm closing.
Oh yeah.
Go straight home, watch like some news or something, something boring.
Yeah.
So like maybe like a sports podcast or something with a really flat voice.
Yeah.
And then I go to sleep, and I'm a morning bird too, so I wake up at like, this morning was not the case. I woke up at like 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, usually I wake up at like sunrise.
Oh,
Like
wow.
once I see the sun,
Wow.
we're done. Like,
Dang.
you know, this weird, not that I'm doing like crazy work, but I had this like like, there's something inside my head that's like, you're wasting the day if you don't get up like
Right.
by 8.
Yeah.
I know that sounds arrogant and like
Yeah.
elitist, but it's like,
No, but yeah, I mean, for
it's a
sure.
good time of the morning. Like nothing's happening. So it's kind of cool. Like I usually get up, get a coffee, have a smoke, and I sit outside
Yeah.
and just like let it and just chill out.
Yeah.
And that's good for you too. Like
Mhm.
having like a quiet morning
Yeah.
before you go down to that mess.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, this weekend was feral.
It
It was
packed.
great. It was great. I'm sure
Oh.
you did well. Like I only had one gig that didn't make $100,
Wow.
and that was the morning on Thursday. Everything else was like I look back at it this morning. I'm like, dang, bro, like we're not in the slums anymore.
Yeah.
Which usually right about March Madness. People
Yeah.
think like they think the slow season is truly between like the Super Bowl
Yeah.
and March Madness tournaments, like
Yeah.
the conference tournaments.
Yeah.
And thankfully we have the SEC here.
Yeah.
So it helps, but then like spring break and then that and then it starts just snowballing.
I mean, do you feel like you take gigs out of like necessity or more just like, do you feel comfortable with the amount you make with the amount you work? Or,
Yeah, I mean, so you really want to? If I had to like really be honest, like because there's cats down there that make gobs.
right. Yeah.
They make some of those stages, like, and some of those folks got gimmicks. Like, and like,
Yeah.
also it's just you don't have to like hassle folks. Like, you just be yourself and be nice to people, and like rather than just shove the tip bucket in their face.
Right.
If you have a conversation with them, you're probably gonna get like they're probably gonna tip you. Like, the goal for me in a 4-hour shift, if your base pay is like 40 or 50, if I make 125, 150, it's not a loss.
Right.
Because I do so many gigs.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I get it. If you have 3 gigs a week or 2 weeks, if you have 2, that ain't going to cut it.
Yeah.
But, some people are lucky enough to have 3 gigs and they make like $300.
Yeah.
Well, you made almost your rent one weekend.
Yeah. Right.
So, when you take a step back and do the hourly,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you usually won't be mad at yourself about it.
Right.
Because I mean, like what? $1.50 divided by 4. You're not making that any.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, like the minimum wage is crap, but like you're not making that. Like you're walking into any job, like so.
Yeah.
You kind of have to take a step back. I think that the street can also get you wound up on like I'm not making this much, and it's like, well, I mean, like either there's a reason for it. Like it's not like I'm not gonna be like, well, you probably suck. It's like you're probably not figuring out what you're not doing enough of. And then the worst thing you can do is sit there and gripe about it.
Yeah.
Try something different. Like I don't run the tip bucket, but if I get a break, I can run it and get 5 requests, $20 a piece. That's $100.
Yeah.
And that's low ball effort. Like I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I think I start talking to people and they can't understand me. They're just like, here, run away, go, keep going. I have some friends that's their trick. They'll linger.
Yeah.
They'll just sit the bucket right there and they'll just be like,
yeah.
And the pressure will literally just pull the. So I usually go like, where are you from? What do you like? What song do you want?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you do. And I mean, you have a short little conversation. And again, the thing that sucks is doing that to every table in the bar.
Yeah.
And then people, the funny thing though is when I think it's a big thing not to announce the tip buckets coming around.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if like, did they do that on your gig? Where they're like, oh, are we going to run around the tip bucket?
Yeah. They did it. Yeah.
Watch like 5 people like
leave.
Go, like they're like, they can't get out of the room fast enough. And I'm like, don't tell them. Like,
right.
do not tell them. Like,
right. Oh.
Those are the ones that will.
Yes.
They'll just do it. They'll give you money just to shut you up.
Yeah. And
now you're like, you're telegraphing what we're doing.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's such a good point. Well, dude,
I mean,
I appreciate you coming. I think you probably have to head out soon, but dude, thank you so much for taking some time to sit down with me, man.
Dude, hopefully this sounds like it was kind of like there was some kind of flow to it.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. This was a good one. This was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we need more of these, like Nashville nobodies, and
Yeah.
this. I think it definitely helps, like, you know, have an insight into like
Mhm.
what we do and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of an enigma. I think, like, especially guns and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
just down there, and
Yeah.
we're like the animatronics of the Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes.
You know, so like it's good to like give people a source to have like their personality seen
Absolutely.
and stuff. Yeah, dude, I love it.
Thank you
This
so
is-
much, man.
Yeah, man.
Hope we do it again sometime, man.
Oh, I didn't know if we were cut yet.
Oh yeah. No. Bye, everybody.
Oh, it was a red light still.